Okay, can you see and hear me now? I'm up. Okay, I forget video. No, oh yeah, okay. Now, can everybody hear me? Do we have sound now? Okay, yeah. That's my mother behind me. So, she's feeling a little bit better from her surgeries last week. So, thank you for your prayers of healing. So, tonight we're doing my mother. So she says hello. She's getting stuff out of the closet. So we had class says hello, Mom. Hello. She says hello back. Daddy's going to bed. Okay. So today we have Tetzaveh, and this is an interesting parsha for a number of reasons. First of all, we are told that the rules and regulations for building the Ner Tamid are eternal light, and the instructions. Now, there are commentators who believe that the origin of the eternal light that we have in our synagogues comes out of this parsha reading, because the opening lines say to command the Israelites to bring pure olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause the light to burn eternally. And our sages and ancient rabbis saw that this light that burned eternally inside the tabernacle was a symbol of Israel, which was to be a light unto the nations. Interesting comment, a light unto the nations. How many times are we as Jews referred to as being a light unto the nations? How many times are we referred to as being a candle? That mankind is a great deal like a candle, and we have different parts of our soul that burn at different levels, from the daily level all the way up to the godly level, up in the clouds, the abstract, the beyond and dreaming level. 32, I believe. Okay. Yeah, so we're referred to as being an eternal light a number of times. So when we talk about kindling the eternal light, what does it mean for our light to be kindled? What are some of the ways that we kindle our light? And I'll give you a few seconds here, since I know we have a minute delay, so you can hear the question and think about it a minute. Kindling our lights. One of the ways I kindle my light is through prayer. And the daily Psalms, which is why today we had Psalm 48 out of the prayer book. David says doing mitzvot. It's okay, we knew what you were saying. What are some ways other folks in here kindle their lights? And how do you feel when your light is kindled? And that godly light inside of you, that God's candle. Oh, Cindy chants. That's an excellent way. And how do you feel when that light is kindled inside of you? Do you feel differently when it's kindled than when it's not kindled? How do you know? Okay, chanting, deep breathing. David feels happy. Cindy says divine breath, sending it to others. That's beautiful, Cindy. When kindled, I feel peaceful, says Laura. I feel peaceful too. When I'm kindled up inside and I feel that light, that passion. Sometimes it's a passion. And doing acts of helping those in need. That was quite the job to create the environment to kindle that light. Because we know in the last Parshat we were talking about actually the building of the tabernacle, creating that sense of holy place. Now that we've got our holy space, our sacred space, yep, taught by Rev Shaya, yes. Deep breath, divine breath, sending it to others. Okay, that's what was taught by Shaya. Yes, I agree, Cindy. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so last week we created our sacred space in our last Parsha. This week now we need to kindle the light in our sacred space. When we created that space last week, we learned that God said to build me a tabernacle that I will dwell within them. So we built the tabernacle, but God dwells within us. But we speak to him from that sacred space. So when we have our light kindled all the time, because that's kind of what Parsha is saying here, that light is supposed to be kindled 24/7. That we do that by acts of helping others, divine breathing, deep breathing, chanting, studying Torah, reading the Psalms. So I was hoping to kindle some lights tonight by doing Psalm 48, but it didn't come out as well as I had hoped due to technical challenges. But we'll work on that for next week. So how can we maintain the light we kindle? It's kind of challenging to maintain this kindled light living in our busy world because we spend so much, thank you, Cindy, we spend so much time involved in the world, sometimes it feels like our light has gone out. The material world has taken it away. And then we have to work to pull it back and to relight it. Cindy says, staying presently aware of it being there. Yeah, and that is a challenge. Yeah, many men wear tzitzit. That helps remind us. What about women? Do all women wear tzitzit? Women weren't commanded to, but Rashi's daughters, they wore tzitzit and tefillin. And once a woman takes on those mitzvot, then a woman is obligated to continue them. Right, Jad says, feel the neshama and not the goof. Right, we don't need it, but there's no law that says, no, women are not as dim as men, says David. Okay, yep, 100 blessings a day. Marcia Prager has a beautiful book called, I believe it is called 100 Blessings a Day. No, The Path of Blessing. It's called The Path of Blessings. And I recommend it highly if you don't have a copy, that you go and get one. Because it talks about those blessings. That's one of the reasons that when we get up in the morning, we say those morning blessings. And we say them as we get dressed. We tighten our belt. We put on our shoes, we stretch, we open our eyes, we remember we're breathing. Every part of our day is filled with blessings and opportunities to say thank you, to remember who we are, to help us maintain that eternal light within us for kindling. Yeah, now women, for whatever reason, women are higher up the spiritual scale, and men seem to be closer to the earthly scale. Yeah, thanking God for our openings. Yeah, is everybody familiar with morning blessings? Do you know them? Are we familiar with those? For enabling creatures to all God's creatures to distinguish between day and night, for having made us in God's image, for having made us Jews, for having made us a free people, giving sight to the blind, for clothing the naked, releasing the bound, raising the downtrodden, creating the heavens and earth, for providing for all our needs, guiding us on our path, strengthening our people with courage, crowning our head with glory, and restoring vigor to the weary. Tradition teaches that these blessings were originally said as we got dressed. So, who made me free? Stretch. Who gives sight to the blind? Washing the sleep out of our eyes. Who clothes the naked? We get dressed. Who releases the bound? We undo the straps of our sleeping garments. Raises the downtrodden? We get up and stretch out our back. Creates the heavens and the earth. It's kind of, stretch out and shake it all out there. Provides for all our needs. Guides us on our path, puts on our shoes. Strengthens us with courage, puts on our belt. Crowns us with glory, puts on our hat. Restores vigor to the weary, and out the door we go. But people didn't say these too often. Over time, they got lost, and so tradition took them out of the home and into shul, and they became part of the shacharit service. And that's one of the ways that we help keep that light kindled. Now, the next part of this parsha that I wanted to look at is the priestly dress of Aaron and his sons. We learn from this that our spiritual leadership wears special clothes. Aaron had beautiful clothing. They had blue robes, fringed tunic, embroidered sash, linen headdress, gold plate over the headdress, pomegranates, little bells. They jingled. It's like their uniform, so that they can get up and they can go to work. They have a specific uniform for their job. And we know that throughout history, uniforms are important, and they distinguish groups of people from another. If you get out on the battlefield, one army has this kind of uniform, the other army has this kind of uniform, and so hopefully they don't mesh, but sometimes uniforms get mixed up. During the American Civil War, for instance, there was a Northern infantry unit out of the Northeast, up in the Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire area, that dressed in gray. And they were very hard to distinguish from the other Union soldiers when they were out on the battlefield. By the same token, some of the Southerners dressed in dark blue, and they also were hard to distinguish. So what came of that was that people had to, uniforms, David, not unicorns. There are no horns. The priest did not have horns. Moses didn't have them. The priest didn't have them. None of us have them. Right. And so uniforms are important. Today, we don't have these kind of uniforms for our priests, for our spiritual leadership, but we dress our Torah with these items. We put a gown, a cloth covering. Ashkenazis put a cloth garment around the Torah. We have the embroidered sash that holds the Torah together when we then dress the Torah. We have silver breastplates with precious stones on them. They're expensive. Not every community has one. Some communities have more than one. They're great items to donate to a shul. Then we have the Torah crowns that sit on the wooden handles of the spindles that we have the scroll on. And those crowns often have little jingling pomegranates or little jingling bells and different decorations, so that when we carry our scroll through our shul, we can hear it, and it reminds us those dressing comes out of here. And the more beautiful the Torah is dressed, the better it is. It's okay, Cindy. I can read typos. Typo is a new language, and I read that one too. So we are all a kingdom of priests. We all dress up when we go to shul. We bring our best selves. We maintain our lights, and we keep our souls kindled. But what's not in this parsha? We talk about what is in the parsha. Can anybody tell me what's not in this parsha? I'll give you a little time to type in some guesses and potential answers and see if you know what's not in it. Women. Good answer. Not what I was thinking of. No, David, there are no unicorns in this parsha. Any other guesses? Where's Lanny this evening? Is Lanny around? Lanny's always got some comment to share with us. I don't think I've seen Lanny sign in. Oh, no, not yet, unless he's got a different name. Okay. Cindy got the answer. Moses is missing out of this parsha. There is no sign of him anywhere. Not. That's right. I did share that with you earlier, didn't I, Cindy? Yeah. I do remember that. Now on Facebook we were talking. There's not one piece of Moses' name. Not one little tittle of a letter. Moses is nowhere in sight. Why? So, what kind of comments do we have? Why do you think there's no... all the way up to this point, what do we have? We have Moses going, God say to Moses, say this to the children of Israel. Say that to the children of Israel. Say this, say that, do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Moses is like everywhere. So why no Moses? Cindy said perhaps his brother's line, Aaron's family tree. Let's see. Okay, we have the garments. Aaron's sons. But that's the only part that we have of Aaron's family is just his sons. And there. And rules for ordination, consecration, the investiture. Oh, that's next parsha. Sorry. Dressing Aaron and his sons. This is, okay, David suggests this is after he told God to remove him from the Torah, after God was going to kill us for the golden calf. No. We're not up to the golden calf yet. Oh, excuse me, we did do the golden calf. But no, that's not one of the comments. So that's a good point, but not the one that we're looking for. Okay, where did I have that comment? Okay, the Gaon of Vilna teaches that Moses is not mentioned in this Parsha reading because God knew that the day of Moses' future death would be on the 7th of Adar, which is the time that we usually read Tetzaveh. And so, said the Gaon of Vilna, this is God's anticipatory mourning. What do you think? What do you think about that? God's anticipatory mourning for Moses, because his death would be on the 7th day of the month of Adar, and God knew that. So he removed him from this Parsha in order to mourn him. We'll wait and see what kind of comments we get here. See if we get any interesting comments. What are your thoughts about that? Okay, David says, Moses appealed to God to let us live and said, if you kill them, remove them from your book. Yes, but that was back with the incident of the golden calf. Cindy said Moses' family was not commanded as priests. Correct. That's right. Only Aaron and his line are priests. Yes, removed from the Sefer. Yes. Interesting. Instructions for the Israelites, getting them ready for practice in case Moses wasn't around. Death brings his neshama closer to him, so God does not mourn the loss. I would agree with you, Cindy. I don't believe that God mourns losses. But God gains in closeness. Humans mourn. Right, because if we say that God mourns, then we are attributing human emotion to God. But if God is beyond and outside of humanity as well as being in, if God is everything, then to have emotion like humans have, I don't think it's possible for God to have that kind of emotion. But I think it is possible for humanity to believe that God has emotion in order for humanity to understand God better. God is within the neshama and retains the closeness. I would agree with that. What about the rest of you? Do you agree on the idea of God having emotions? Now, the golden calf was... Where was the golden calf? It was after we left Egypt, I believe. Let me find it in here. There's the Song of the Sea, so it's going to be after that. There we have the quail, counting the Omer. Tomorrow, people drinking. So this is going up on the mountain. Moses went up the mountain. We got the 10 Commandments up on the mountain. The Shabbat day. Laws. The Mishpatim laws. Okay, I'm going to have to look and see where the golden calf is, because I think we've already passed it. Let's say, God may have capacity for emotions. Maybe if a soul is estranged from God, there could be mourning by God. Jad says, Torah shows Hashem having a whole range of emotion, but I don't think they are the same as us, because we are not like God. No, we aren't. We have some godlike qualities, and we are made in images, in the image of God, and because of that, we reflect God. And so we reflect God's presence into the world at large. Okay, so where is the golden calf? The Shelah? Was it in the Shelah? Okay. Yeah, because we are not God. Okay, I'm looking really quick here. Intro, we weren't there. Okay, golden calf is next week, folks. So we haven't gotten to the part where where Moses tells God to remove him from the Torah. That will be in Kitisa next week. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's see. Laura says, emotions are human. God is love and life and all things. God doesn't have emotions like mourning or anger, etc. Okay, then that comment begs the question, Laura, that if God is all good things, that's the philosopher's conundrum, then God can't be evil. If God can't be evil, then God can't be everything, because God is not complete. So in order to be complete, God must be both good and evil. God does not show anger. Some people, though, attribute anger to God. I know that there were priests, ministers, others who attributed storms like the one that hit New Jersey and Katrina down in New Orleans to God's anger because of our personal behavior. And then we have the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. It was a punishment from God. Yes. So they're conundrum puzzles. If God is all, then God must be good and evil, and create the capacity for both good and evil. God does show anger, because after Moses struck the rock, yeah, God was not a happy camper. If we break the covenant, and by breaking the covenant, in order for us to break the covenant, our personal, eternal flame must be blown out. because if it wasn't blown out, we would be so consumed. We would be like the burning bush. We would be consumed with our passion for God and with our kindled light that we don't burn. Like the burning bush doesn't burn, it's consumed with the presence of God. When our light is kindled, we also are consumed with the presence of God, so we don't burn. And if we're in that space, we're not in a position to break the covenant. If we can break the covenant, then that means our eternal light has gone out. And so this brings us right back around to where we started from. Because all our human emotions are within our light. And we grieve when the light goes out of the soul and the soul passes into the next world. And I truly believe there is a next world into which the soul passes, but I can't tell you anything about it, what it's like. But the most profound experience I ever had was when I officiated at my first graveside funeral, and I could feel the spiritual curtain between our world and the next behind me, and I felt it open, and I could feel the other world, but I couldn't see it, I couldn't touch it, I couldn't hear it, but I felt it. And it was very profound, so I have no idea what it's like, other than it's profound. So what do you think? If we break the covenant, it's because our own personal eternal light has been blown out. Give you a few minutes, see what you think about that. But I believe that along the lines of what Cindy was thinking, the real focus of this parsha is on Aaron and his sons and dressing them appropriately. And it does not seem right. We have good. Wow, look at all this. Whoa. Okay, let's see. Laura says maybe humans are the good and evil. Well, yeah, I believe we have the capacity for both inside of us, both good and evil. So let's see. Let's go back down there. Maybe humans are the good and the evil. And Jared says, like we have the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer HaTov, we too have good and evil. Good and evil, yep. Jewish God has a multitude of emotions, and we see them displayed. Can't type good and evil. Flame dims. If we show remorse and apologize, our flame can rekindle and grow stronger, which is a good reason for Yom Kippur when we go through the month of Elul and we think about the errors that we've done and the mistakes that we've made, and we apologize to others because we can't go to God and make amends until we make amends to each other. And so that's very important. So let's see, it's going quickly. Okay, so we have, let's see, Aaron, our flame can rekindle and grow stronger, not blown out unless we are dead. And David adds, even in death, unless Hashem decides our candle is never blown out. So it's Aaron's job for his family's eternity, making up for attempting to build the golden calf. Well, we don't know that yet because the golden calf is in next week's parsha, Cindy, so we haven't got to there. I learned to spell Aaron because it's big A, little a, R-O-N. Ask my son. He'll tell you. He's been saying that since he was like 2 years old. Big A, little a, R-O-N. But I believe that Moses isn't mentioned because the focus here is on Aaron and his sons. But God is speaking to Moses because God says, you shall further instruct the Israelites. You shall bring forth your brother Aaron and his sons. You will make sacral vestments from them. You shall instruct all who are skillful. On the two stones you shall make seal engravings, the work of the lapidary. So God is talking to Aaron, you shall make the robe of the ephod of pure blue. But it just doesn't say his name. Unlike in the other parshiot, where God speaks to Aaron and says, say to the children of Israel. Now, the rabbis teach that Torah is not necessarily chronological, that we have put it in chronological order, but what is happening could all be happening concurrently. There is no past, there is no present, and there is no future in the rabbis' worlds of the ancient rabbis we're speaking, that time is linear and everything happens at the same time. And so things that were written in, say, the Middle Ages could be attributed all the way back to the ancient sages. Things written today could be attributed backwards in time to the medieval sages and so on like that. But it is intriguing. This is where we're introducing Aaron and his family as high priests. So it seems like that's really where the focus is, and that may be, yeah, time is more like a spiral. Yes, that's it, correct. Babby, yes. Exactly what I meant to say. So that's good news. Excuse me just a second.
We have dinner soon, or we want to?
Yeah, about another 10 minutes.
Huh?
10 minutes. Okay, here. Living in the now. Sorry about that. My mom was just checking in to see how much longer class was. Okay, so we are living in the now. Spiral. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. It shows up in a lot of the more mystical literature and in Talmud and back in the Mishnah and continued on that, time is a spiral. They were doing scientific metaphysical work all the way back in 1st and 2nd century and before, but it doesn't show up in mainstream Jewish literature because once Christianity started appearing on the horizon at the turn of the millennium, and we know what a frothy period at the beginning of a millennium can be, and people going on with the end of the world, and this is happening and that, and they really don't know. But then they create all this stuff, and out of that frothiness came the ideas of Christianity, that eventually Judaism went this way while Christianity went this way, because they started like this, and they were basically two sects, S-E-C-T-S, of the same religion, but when Christianity became an official religion during the Dark Ages into the Renaissance, Middle Ages, and so on, through all these time periods, they created what was going to be what, because what the Jews believe that was different from Christians, what made Jews Jews and what made Christians Christians. So what did Jews believe, what did Christians believe, and the spiritual leaders were busy frothing these concepts, because resurrection, for example, is a very, very Jewish concept, but it got moved into Christianity, and once it moved over to Christianity, it moved out of mainstream Jewish spiritual literature and prayer books and so on, and moved into the spiritual literature, like the Zohar. No, not the Zohar. Maybe there's some stuff about resurrection in the Zohar. but sages that were writing about it, it got moved elsewhere and out of the mainstream because it was one of those things that was different. Christians believed in resurrection, Jews do not, even though we did, and many of us still do. So, the concepts of tikkun, right, and that's where we see like Isaac Luria and his vessels, where the light was contained in the vessels, they exploded, and our job as Jews is to gather up all those little shards of light and return them to the holy vessel, and that's when the Messianic period will begin, and so on. So there's a lot deeper lessons in this, and we talk about the idea of the Ner Talmid. I'm sorry, not Ner student, the student candle. Talmid is student, but Ner Tamid, which is eternal light, because Ner is candle and Tamid is forever eternal. And in Hebrew, the adjectives go after the nouns. So, we're down to our last 5-6 minutes. Before everybody leaves, I want to do the spiel, the donation spiel. So, when you scroll up here to the top and you see that donate button next to the Facebook thing above the charge cards and to the right of OneShul, remember that OneShul is nonprofit and we run on donations and grant monies to keep the technology running. And so we ask that you please put another shekel in, stick it in that pushka tin. Pushka, pushka, pushka. Donate now, please. Cindy, I'm glad that you found this interesting. We're here every Monday night for Torah Talk with Chanah, and hopefully I'll see you back. It's great having you here. And do we have any other comments? We have anything else that we want to share this evening? Okay, then why don't we end with a Mishaberach? So if you have somebody that you're saying prayers for healing, or somebody that you want to throw into the healing circle, go ahead and put their name in, and I will find the Mishaberach. We say prayers for healing. If I look in the front, I might find it better looking in the index. My parents, James and Margaret White. Yeah, that's not the right page. Let's try this again. 176. Okay. Yes, Mom's doing much better after her surgery. She's having another minor surgery tomorrow, but my father's growing weaker, so both James and Margaret White. We have Tommy, Cindy's husband. We have Jan Norquist. We have Rabbi Patrick. Are there any other names? Okay, I want to type this in real quick because this is the chorus that you can kind of sing along with or hum along with. This Anna, Elna, Refanala comes from the words that Moses used when he asked for healing for his sister. As the wind whispers a mincha song, and the trees rustle blowing along, let us sing a healing song, and let it be strong. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Ana elna refanala. Anna elna refanala. Anna elna refanala. Refanala. Let us send our love to those who need it so. King Yehi Ratzon. King Yehi Ratzon. As the rain falls to wash away our tears, so will the sun rise, rolling back the years. We listen to the voice that says so very clear, don't give in to fear. And as the night falls, so blue-black, so deep, angels call us as we drift away. We climb the mountain that seems so very steep, laugh instead of weep, and we say, Ana elna refanala, Ana elna refanala, Ana elna refanala, refanala. Vimru, amen. Let Tommy know that he's in our circle of prayers this evening and every day, Cindy. And when you're ready, you can either sign out and return to the world, or you can hang out and socialize for a bit. And I'm going to sign out of the Ustream broadcast. And so my face and my voice will disappear. Shalom. Laila tov, everyone. And I'm going to go and care for my mother right now. Make sure my dad gets into bed for all his needs. And I will, if I don't hear or see from you before, I will see you all next week, same time, same channel for Kitisa with Torah Talk with Hannah. Bye-bye.